People who watch this channel know from time to time I like to enjoy a little bit of golf while I make my videos or write these articles, or just talk to you guys about what's happening in the world of black mob violence and denial. But you know, over the last month though, there's been two incidents on the PGA Tour that have drawn an enormous amount of controversy. One, Tiger was lining up a shot. In the middle of a shot, some enthusiastic spectator yelled out something. That simply isn't done in golf. Then another example where another player was making a shot, same thing happened, an enthusiastic spectator yelled something out, they even had him removed. Well, it turned out later that it wasn't that spectator, it was somebody in another fairway saying something else, and everybody got it all wrong. So that's what happens when you put 25, 50, 100,000 white and Asian people together in a recreational place. The worst thing that happens is somebody speaks a little something a little bit too loudly out of turn one time. Compare that to all the rap concerts. Oh, by the way, the same thing happens at all the NASCAR events, the Indy 500. The same thing happens, meaning nothing happens. Large group of people get together, peace, harmony, love, devotion, surrender, all that stuff. And there's no metal detectors, there's no drama, there's no people getting shot, there's no robberies, all that good stuff. Now, the trolls on this channel, they like to constantly remind us that white people do it too, or that's not happening, or white people deserve it. The only thing they really have a case of making is that white people deserve it, which isn't true, which isn't true on a subjective level, but the other ones are not true on a factual level. Because every day, like the videos you're about to see here, we see this ridiculous level of black criminality and violence that we just don't see white people doing. So we're going to run a few videos here. And so if there's like some secret treasure trove of white people doing this kind of crazy stuff out there, would you please send it to me so I can go back to playing a lot more golf and spending a lot less time doing these videos.
Dothan police make multiple arrests in a string of robberies. All of them happened in less than a week. I met with Chief Steve Parrish as he's putting a stop to this once and for all. Enough is enough.
Young people that would rather steal what you got than to get out and work for it.
Dothan Police Chief Steve Parrish says this group of 17 and 18-year-olds are responsible for 3 robberies that happened over 4 days. A few convenience stores in Dothan were hit, including the Dollar General here on Montgomery Highway. 7 people were arrested, but Dothan Chief of Police Steve Parrish says more arrests are possible. DPD executed 7 search warrants throughout the city in connection to the robberies at a Dollar General, Kangaroo, and Chevron. The department says they aren't playing games.
We're committed to putting these offenders where they belong, and we are going to ask the district attorney's office for maximum penalties in the adjudication process, no deals whatsoever, in hopes that it will send a message to these individuals and anybody who may be thinking about doing what they're doing to think twice about what you're doing.
Parrish says several of the suspects are dropouts. Others were on bond for robbery and other charges.
We're very sure that we've got our people. We've arrested the bad guy.
There could be more arrests made in connection to these robberies. Chief Parrish says his department won't stop until they've all been caught.
They say they used surveillance cameras to identify 4 men wanted in a home invasion that happened last month. Greenville police have charged 20-year-old Taekwon Mayo, 17-year-old Altrick Richardson, 16-year-old Layfield Smith Jr., and 20-year-old Kendrick Gray with attempted robbery with a dangerous weapon, breaking and entering, and conspiracy. The home invasion happened on February 21st, according to police at University Suites Apartments. 2 women told officers that 3 men forced their way into the apartment with a gun after they answered the door. A 4th man stayed outside as a lookout, police say.
Continuing coverage of the teenager charged with shooting a police officer in Portsmouth. We're learning more about other crimes that Will Patterson Jr. is charged with involving guns.
The police say Patterson committed 2 armed robberies just a few weeks before he allegedly shot a Portsmouth patrolman. Investigative reporter Chris Horn has more on the 2 robberies that follow a pattern. Chris?
Yeah, according to police, Stephanie, Patterson and another teenager used a scheme involving the buy and sell website OfferUp. The 2 robberies happened in October, and the police officer was shot in November. During that time, Patterson was just 15, but he's being prosecuted now as an adult. Police say Will Patterson Jr. and another suspect, both 15 at the time, used fake names on the OfferUp website to advertise phones for sale. Court documents say on October 15th, the 2 lured a man who wanted to buy a phone to this area on Maple Avenue. Patterson pulled out a gun and robbed the man of $150. In a similar case, 2 weeks later, police say Patterson and his accomplice robbed a woman at gunpoint in the 1300 block of Prentice Avenue. That's in the same neighborhood as the first robbery. Police say the 2 teens took $250 in that second robbery, but then Patterson began firing 3 or 4 shots at the woman's car as she pulled away. Patterson is charged with armed robbery in both cases, as well as additional charges relating to the alleged shooting in the second robbery. In a week after the second robbery, police say Patterson shot Portsmouth police officer Angelina Bocklini. Bocklini said in court that she spotted Patterson on Hickory Street and was in the process of handcuffing him. That's when Bocklini testified that Patterson shot her 4 times. Patterson has since turned 16. He's charged with attempted capital murder of a police officer.
On to a news story now. There may be a whole lot more to this murder suspect than what police are revealing right now. Billy Kemmermeer is charged in Dallas and Collin County, but there are concerns about additional victims today. Here's News 8's Chris Sadeghi.
We should learn much more about Billy Kemmermeer coming up at a 1 o'clock news conference, but we've been digging through some court files to find out more about his history with the justice system and also the immigration system in the past. Right now, he's in the Dallas County Jail charged with capital murder and attempted murder. In both these cases, court documents say he smothered an elderly woman, although one victim did survive the attack. The warrants also say he posed as a maintenance worker at an assisted living center for one of those attacks in Frisco. We also came across a 2016 criminal trespass charge in which he was trespassing at a retirement home. So there seems to be a trend of targeting the elderly. Records also show he used an alias name Benjamin Koitaba. Richardson police say they're reviewing past cases to see if the crimes fit the MO Kemmermeer is known by. We also know he had an immigration hold against him. We ask ICE for records about past holds or deportations they may have executed against Kemmermeer. Now, these 2 charges here in Dallas County could be just the tip of the iceberg.
This is just something that came into my computer the last like 24 hours. This isn't even representative. This is just tip of the spear. This is life in Black America. This is life where black people and white people mix. This is life when reporters and public officials are in constant denial, deceit, and delusion about it, and that's how they encourage it and enable it and help it grow and grow and grow, becoming more and more dangerous even as they try to convince us our world is becoming less and less and less dangerous. The numbers, Colin, the numbers. Everybody's on to the numbers dodge. Everybody's on to the fact that we're trying to crunch to kill the numbers even as the crime rises. Saw a big example of that in New York City the other day. New York Post ran a story about discipline in New York City schools where the suspensions were going down. Hooray! Oh, but by the way, crime is going up. Well, that's just how they roll. This is how people are rolling all over the country. There are some signs, some things are changing. Trump's pulling some stuff out, some weeds out by the roots out the Department of Education. We'll see how that works out. Or we'll see if they kind of lose their nerve when they figure out how holding black people accountable for this ridiculous level of criminality and violence that's now an everyday part of our lives. We'll see what happens when they figure out by doing that, they make a lot of black kids angry.